This is TWiT.
Okay, so
let's talk about Siri
shortcuts.
First, let's show you where Siri, because I don't even think you were sure about it.
No.
And I think this is Apple's fault. I do blame Apple because what they do, unfortunately, with the settings is very confusing. Like some apps have settings in the app. Some apps most apps have settings in the settings app. And the Siri, you might be tempted to look in general, but if you go down to Siri and search, oh, well, that has its own entry now. And this is where you'll see the Siri shortcuts. And these are suggested. Let me turn my brightness down. Sometimes I'm just too smart for everybody. How about that? That looks a little bit better. So the suggested shortcuts are based on, and we were talking about this before the show, is this stuff you do a lot? Or is this just stuff whatever you did recently? Yeah. And I have only asked for the precipitation forecast once. I think maybe, though, what happened here is, notice these three are all from Dark Sky. When I installed Dark Sky on the phone, it said, oh, well, let's add, because Dark Sky supports Siri shortcuts, let's add a few of the things you can do. So if I wanted to add this, it's easy. Did you see what I did there? These are the suggested shortcuts. This is the easiest way to add a shortcut. I'll press the plus button. It says add to Siri. And I'm going to say, is it going to rain? And now that's my phrase. So if I do this, let's see if it works. Hey, Siri, is it going to rain? Oh, this bothers me every time. I have too many Siri devices.
Yep.
Siri thinks I'm still talking to her.
You can press the button to get
Let's
Siri
do it that way, right? Is it going to rain? And now, and this is the only thing I don't like. It takes a little longer.
It does. Yeah.
That one wasn't too bad.
Well, because I could actually, let's just see if I ask mine, is it going to rain?
It doesn't look like it's going to rain.
So
that was better, and it was in a British voice.
Well, and that's also something built into Siri, right? But it's going to show me the weather app, not your Dark Skies app, which you prefer. But it is faster.
Frankly, you got not only did you get it faster, you got a better answer, because look, that shows all through the day. All I got was this, and then I have to tap this to launch Dark Sky. Now, I happen to like Dark Sky once I get into it, but yeah. So maybe don't have it do things that Siri can do natively.
Well, that's the thing but Siri, you never know exactly what she can do. Or like, is it going to rain is one that's pretty basic. But then there are a lot of things like you could ask Siri to play your podcast. That's pretty easy if you have Apple Music. Like, I'm not podcast playlist. So like I say, play my magic mixtape.
And look how fast that was. But if you could still do it in Spotify or other things that support Siri shortcuts, but then it has to launch the app.
I doubt
look up
Spotify
the playlist.
supports Siri.
You think?
I don't know, but then
actually, I don't see any music apps in the. That's nice.
But then you could also, but then you have to say play my playlist.
Is that your dog or is that just a random dog?
that's from Unsplash.
That's the wallpaper company.
Yes, he's adorable, isn't he?
Isn't he cute?
So, but then
looks a little like E.T.
I made a shortcut through this. So the other way you get Siri shortcuts is through the Shortcuts app, which you have to download separately. It's an iOS app, but you download it separately. It doesn't come with iOS. So I made this shortcut, I Need to Cry, so that then it plays a playlist. I don't have to say playlist or anything. So I can say, I need to cry.
Done.
Done is a little much. Done.
And then it plays this playlist that I made about sad songs.
That's kind of cool.
So I could also say, turn on my playlist. I need to, my sad songs playlist. But that's the one I created, but it's super easy to create them. And I know you can do a lot more, but okay. I don't need to cry anymore.
I think that what Apple did was very interesting in two ways, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll reiterate it. One, the Apple had a problem, which was making Siri smarter. So by letting app developers add this kind of functionality to the app, they can kind of put off onto some apps some functionality, and that app can be responsible for any privacy violations, because Apple really doesn't want Siri to spy on you. But, the Starbucks app might know that you buy a Starbucks at the same time every day. And so it can be kind of responsible for knowing that you have a relationship with Starbucks. You have the app. You agreed to their privacy policy. So it gives Siri some functionality without Apple having to know anything more about you. It also, so it makes Siri more powerful. It avoids the privacy issue. And then the other thing I think Apple did very intelligently, and this is a real problem, anytime you give a scripting functionality to a programming language, and Apple knows this because the Mac has had Apple Script and Automator for years, and those who know and use it love it, but the vast majority of Apple Macintosh users have no idea it even exists, let alone use it. So Apple wanted a way that you could surface these and fairly easily. Now, you still have to know to look in the Siri and search area, but it's at least creating sample shortcuts for you all the time to give you an idea. So you don't have to download the Shortcuts app. Because once you get to the Shortcuts app, it's work.
Yeah, so here's the Shortcuts app, and there's where my non-programming mind gets confused, because there's things I have to drag and drop over here. There's scripting. So I guess if I drag and drop this, I could, if I need to cry, I could choose from a list of playlists, right? That's what that's doing.
You can make it more sophisticated.
And I select multiple.
You could even do things like add, is it going to rain to your forecast?
Oh, right.
So anything that you can make a Siri shortcut can then become part of the shortcuts. And you can make them. And so the thing to understand, and we've gone through this once before, and who's really great on this is Lauren Brichter, is really the king of the Shortcuts program, which used to be Workflow. And he's been a king since it was Workflow. But show it again, because what the key is to understand is that this is going to be a sequence of things that are going to run, and that the output of one of something can go into the input of another. So I'll show you.
So if it's going to rain, then remind me to bring an umbrella.
Well, for instance, you could say, you could make this your good morning one.
Right.
And it could say, get the weather forecast. If it's going to be rainy, play me sad songs. If it's going to be sunny, play me happy songs. Unfortunately, you can't do that because there's no, to my knowledge, weather app that will have an output that it's rainy or it's sunny. And so they have to be wise enough about the Shortcuts app to output in such a way that the next block can use it. So it is a little limiting in that respect, but there are many, many things you can do. I mean, it really is kind of the sky's the limit on this thing. So I think it's worth, and I think this was Apple's intent, starting with the simple pre-built shortcuts, which makes Siri smarter, gives you some things, and then you can start making routines in the Shortcuts app if you want to get a little more sophisticated and fancy. And I think that's kind of the key in general to teaching people programming, is give them an easy way to get into it, and then hope that their curiosity, and it will only happen in 1 in 10 people, but their curiosity will push them forward, and then they'll find these great additional capabilities.
Right, because that's what, so like in here, set variable. What is this for?
So if you look at something and you want to know what it does, no. Above that.
Okay, so here's I want to create a good morning.
So
routine.
See the button in the upper right-hand corner?
This one?
No, of each block.
Oh, that?
That'll tell you, Tap it.
Won't close it?
Well, maybe it does. It does. Never mind. Where is that? It's hard for me to look at it on your screen and figure it out.
So I know
there's a button that will tell you. Maybe hit the left-hand button.
Oh,
there you go.
There we go.
That will tell you what you can do with it.
Okay.
And will give you, will allow you to favorite it, which is nice. So if it's something you use a lot, and by the way, set variable may well be something you use a lot. And you see it has input and it has result. So in effect, you could take, and the point of this is you could take the output of the previous block and save it and send it to a different block than the next one. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do. And
so that programmers need that. Otherwise, all you can do is sequences. You can't save any information. So you need a way of saving some information.
So I figured out how to do two things at once. So I can, let's see. What was the thing I set it to say? Show me the news. that's not what I want. Let me see. What did I... there we go. Give me the news. Give me the news. So this is Twitter, and it should be playing sad music at the same time. Is it? No. There we go. So that shortcut, Give Me the News, will show me Twitter and sad music.
Nice.
But not one after the other. That's the thing that I need to figure out how to do.
Well, let me show you an example of daisy chaining. Very simple.
Daisy chaining.
So one of the things that I use this for, and it actually came up as we were traveling. One of the things that, and I've mentioned this before, we like to do when we get off the bus is set a pin at our location so we can get back to the bus or the train station or wherever. So I have something called Save My Location. And it is a simple example of that kind of thing. So first we get the current location. Now, it doesn't work on an iPad because we don't have that particular functionality in this iPad. But then you see there's a little line. You can barely see it. But that little line shows that the next thing can take that. And you see that there is a variable. And so I'm going to send myself a message. I've been trying to find other ways to do this. You know, the ideal would be send maps, drop a pin on a map. But unfortunately, Maps doesn't have that. So you can only do functions that the app's exposed to Siri shortcuts. So in this case, sends a message in SMS, pass image, video, or other files as input to include attachments. So the input can be anything as an attachment, and the result will be a message. So I'm taking the current location and attaching it. See, there it shows up as a variable. And then sending that message would run. And then one more thing I added, which was send a notification. So after I go, Siri, save my location, I want to know that it actually sent that. It's going to send this as a text message where I am currently. And I can update it. Now, this doesn't have, I do it on my iPhone, because the iPhone. So I'm going to give it permission to do all of that. Location information while using the app. Okay, so it has location capability now. So that's an example of taking the output from one task, putting it into the next, and then into the next. And these daisy chain down. I don't know what's going on. Update notification settings.
Well, so what I found is your shortcuts will go across all of your iOS devices.
Yes,
if you don't have the app installed, then it'll say I can't do that, and you have to give it permissions on all your devices.
Exactly.
For every.
So this was created on an iPhone, obviously, because it has GPS and it's come over. This is a funny one that somebody. Actually, I don't want to run it. This was a funny one that somebody created that gives you an idea of all the things you can do. This is called I'm Being Pulled Over by the Police. And it got a lot of attention when it was created. So if you are getting pulled over, what you would do is, hey, Siri, I'm being pulled over, or whatever.
I don't know what you mean by that. Pulled over, whatever.
Yeah, I know you
don't.
don't.
Web search for
No, how about not? So I shouldn't have said the HS word. I apologize. But first thing it does, it turns off your music if you're listening to music. It sets Do Not Disturb. I don't want my phone ringing.
Right, or you want to know that it's on Do Not Disturb.
Now, this is an interesting thing, though, because it's at this point going to do something kind of sneaky. It's turning the brightness all the way down. It's getting the current location. It's sending a message, in this case to my wife. I'm getting pulled over. My current location is current location, latitude and longitude. Location will be an address. So we're also sending, in case there's no usable address, latitude and longitude. And then it starts the camera and starts taping it.
But even
recording
though your
it.
phone is on Do Not Disturb, or camera on your...
That's on the phone. It's turning on, it says take a video. This is all happening in sequence. So after it sends a text to Lisa, it starts videoing from the front camera, high quality. Once the video is concluded, after the officer leaves, I'll save that to the photo album. And now I'm going to get a variable. This is an example of using a variable, which is the saved media. I'm returning the brightness to normal. I am, by the way, see this variable is persistent. So I have this variable save photo media. So I have it and I can continue to use it. And I'm blogging this. I'm saying, here's a video of the police interaction, and I will add the photo media to that. I'm turning Do Not Disturb off. And so this is the guy who wrote this, Robert A. Peterson, and he posted it on Reddit. Oh, and there's more, by the way. Uploading the video to the Dropbox or the iCloud, and then moving on.
That's dark.
So this is a dark script, but I use it because it's one of the more elaborate scripts out there, and it gives you an idea of the kinds of things you can do. And so it's important, it's valuable to think of, to get a little more sophisticated in the kind of things that you can do. Here's the one that I use probably more than any other. Find calendar events where the day is today, and the following is true. I'm home, and on my Leo TWiT calendar, it says iOS Today Show. Then I get my travel location from home to work, and then I send you a text saying, running a little late, be there in, and I'm getting, see that input that comes from the travel time, and then I send you that message.
Brilliant.
Isn't that brilliant?
And then you don't have to be on time
then
anymore.
I just say, but the problem is you can only send that when you're leaving, because otherwise the travel time will give you away.
Yeah, that's true.
So I should write another one that adds 10 minutes to the travel time.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a great idea. Let me just do that. Now I can trigger that action, and it's like a snooze alarm. I now have 10 minutes before I have to get in the car.
I love it. One day I think I will do more elaborate shortcuts, but for now I just like the simple one. So I would start with the simple. Absolutely. Right.
And even that's a step, because you have to go to Siri and search in your settings, and you have to look at them, and you have to enact them. And I would bet you 90% of iPhone users will never even do that.
Right, exactly.
And of the 10% that do, only 1% of the 10%, which means, what is that, one in 1,000, will ever do what we just described, do these Siri shortcuts.
But yeah, so there's a website someone sent me on Twitter called Shortcuts Gallery.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Really has a ton of shortcuts if you don't want to create your own. And again, like you said, you can use these in case of an emergency, blank to create your own file. Like, so you create an emergency file. That's pretty good. I mean, a lot of these things are included in Apple already. But you know, these are a lot of interesting things that download your social media photos from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Choose the quality. I think that's a nice one. So there's lots of good ones. And
as you use your iPhone, it's a great idea, though, to look at Siri and search and see what shortcuts your iPhone suggests, because it's watching everything you're doing. It really wants me to call my mom.
Yeah, you should. You should call your mom.
It's watching everything you're doing and suggests things that you've done, and in this case, only once before. But but there's news. See my briefing. Read the latest headlines. So it's a great place to start. And then, if you want, edit the shortcuts. And then the third part would be start looking at other people's shortcuts and see what you can add. I think looking at other people's shortcuts is the same thing. All coders start coding this way. We look at other people's code and see what they do, and that's a great way to learn how to code.
I agree. So I just saved this one from the Shortcuts Gallery.
Which one?
It was called Fortune Cookie.
I love that.
And
that's an old Unix. It's funny because that's program has probably been around as long as there have been computers, personal computers.
So hello, Fortune Cookie. Here is your cookie. Press OK to crack open your Fortune Cookie and read what's inside.
Oh, how cute. Could not run.
Vibrate device. Okay, so but I'd have to.
You'd have to edit it.
iPhone, because you can't vibrate an iPhone. I mean, an iPad. Yeah, like why?
I guess not, right?
Okay, let's try it here. Hello.
Open
Here is your cookie. Ooh, it vibrated.
Oh, it's making a sound. That's why.
Oops, Fortune Cookie looks like you have an empty cookie. Try again. What?
Probably the place it's going. So this is the problem, and this is. Welcome to another fun bit of coding, which is bugs. So this script is great, but the one thing it's trying to do, did you get a fortune?
Look in the mirror without admiring your reflection. Okay.
That's hard to do.
So why did it not give me a fortune?
So it's going out to the internet to get fortunes. And I guess it got an empty fortune.
Well, I guess that's real life. Sometimes you
That's
get an
real
empty
life.
fortune.
But that may be a bug too, and there'll be ways maybe. And so what your next step is, take other people's code and fix it, make it better, add something, take something out, and then that's how you get to be a programmer. Frankly, is doing all of the above.
So there's not all apps work with shortcuts.
No, I wish more did, and even more frustratingly, some apps like Maps that don't provide the one thing
Right.
that you want them
Yes.
to do. Right?
Yeah.
They have to expose the functions.
Right. So one that I like, there's an app called Productive that I've been using for a while because I always want to be living my best life. So
Are you ever going to get there?
I don't.
You've
I
been
don't
working
think
on
so.
this an awful long time.
Nobody gets there. That the joy is in the journey.
Oh.
So here are my habits: eating a good meal, brushing and flossing, taking my vitamins. Jar of awesome, which is one that I created myself, which is creating a little jar of all the awesome things in my life. It's a little gratitude practice.
And then you burn them at the end?
No, I mean I could. But it's hard to.
Thank you.
It's hard to, I have all these apps and I set them all up and then using them is difficult. So going into the app and then saying that I've eaten a good meal. So I've set this up with Siri shortcuts. So I should be able to say, show me my habits.
Here are your current habits.
So I
Nice.
don't have to open that app. I don't have to
Nice.
because sometimes opening an app leads me into all kinds of things, usually Twitter. So I've seen them there.
So now you have to do all those things.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if I drank a bunch of water, that's one of my habits that's not on there. Hopefully, let's cross our fingers that's work. I can just say, I drank some water.
Okay, Megan, here's what I found.
Okay, let's try it again.
Siri, you're never ending
I drank
source.
some water.
Okay, check it out.
Dang it. So it's supposed to mark that
Now, this is
I've
good that
drank
we
water.
show this because it's really important to understand that it won't work right away.
Right.
It can be a little, don't give up.
Let's try it again. I drank water.
Done. I've marked drink some water as done. That's done.
Done.
Okay.
It's
So now
done.
every time I drank
3
a
times
bunch
it
of
told you
water.
it was done.
So I have to say I drank water, even though it hears me say I drink water,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't show me another Applebee's, which I do not want.
Well,
and
that's where
then-
you could go to drink water, I guess, was the gist of that.
Yes, as Helpless Corgi says in the chat room, Applebee's has the best water.
They have such good water.
So Productive is a good one that works with Siri.
And if I have to be honest, this is the thing that's going to make this maybe break this, which is people when it doesn't give you enough control to really make this work flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the problem with Siri in general. It's kind of hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Half the time she's going to say, I don't know, but let me search the web for that.
Right.
At least she's at least responding. Remember when Siri first came out, half the time it did nothing.
Yeah.
It was the network's dead. So at least Siri, they've got that working. But this is the frustration. Anybody who's done any real programming will immediately go, oh, I can't do this because it's unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Apple does need to work. I don't know how you solve that. It may be just a function of the limitations of this kind of thing. But yeah, the fact that you had to try 3 times to add water to your list.
Let's try this one. Here's an app I know you use, TripIt.
Love
so
TripIt.
TripIt works with Siri shortcuts. I should be able to ask, show me my upcoming travel plans. Show me my upcoming travel plans.
Here's your appointment.
Okay, so that's my dad's calendar. He's playing golf with his friend Craig. That's not what I wanted. Upcoming travel plans. There we go. So it opens TripIt.
Wow. Now you had
Did
to
it.
write this, right?
No, I think it TripIt. No, I don't
It
remember
volunteered.
how I did
TripIt
it,
volunteered it.
but, so yeah, it.
And this is the first time you opened TripIt, so you got that.
Right. So
That's
here's
nice.
my trip in December.
I wonder
and it
if I
showed
can
me-
do that. Upcoming travel plans, because I've never set that up. Oh,
Here's your appointment.
Okay, so that it showed you that. So I should be able to.
it just,
here,
so
I'm
I
gonna
think it
share
just
this
sees the
with
word
you.
upcoming.
I'm going to share it with you.
Oh, so you can share a script to me?
Yeah.
So cool.
There. Okay. I don't want to create an iCloud link. Okay. So I just tried to airdrop it to you. There it goes.
So this is nice. Megan Morrone, or Morone as we call her, would like to share one shortcuts link. Decline or accept. I'm going to accept that. And now it gets added. Okay, get the shortcut. It's telling me what it is. It's been added to my library.
So then I think you'd actually have to add it to Siri after that. So upcoming travel plans. Okay.
Oh, I don't have the same TripIt as you do.
Well,
you have the free TripIt. I have the paid TripIt. So that's okay. That'd be easy. That'd be easy to modify. So.
Oh yeah. So it should. If you have the Pro TripIt, it should show you the Pro. That's.
Well, that maybe is how you did it. Maybe TripIt's not on here, but I'm pretty sure it is. Let's just see. TripIt. Yeah. This is actually a problem with TripIt. Is there's two different TripIts on the store. So
you'd probably just have to change it to your TripIt.
Yes, which wouldn't be so very hard.
No. And then you'd have to add it to Siri and tell it, whatever you.
So let's take that out. Well, before I do that, let's see if I have. Let's search for TripIt here. Yeah.
I think I did it within the TripIt app. But I don't remember how I did it.
It probably was a suggestion to you once you install the TripIt app. That's interesting that it's not seeing TripIt here. Again, this is the kind of thing that will make people crazy. But if you want to be a programmer, you gotta.
Okay, so here's.
Do it.
I think it was if you show my phone, it was in Siri shortcuts.
In TripIt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's the key.
TripIt shortcuts.
So let me go to settings. You probably have to turn it on, right? Maybe you have maybe the TripIt I have doesn't have that functionality. It was in your settings?
It was in the settings of the TripIt app, yeah, on the iPhone.
Maybe you have a better Siri.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe it's only on the iPhone.
Oh, maybe. But I did it on my iPad.
Yeah. Huh. Let's see. I'll turn on, go to TripIt here. Maybe I should have that other TripIt that you have, the really good TripIt.
So go to
there it is.
On his.
On the iPhone, it's only on the iPhone. Okay. Then Siri shortcuts.
And then manage
And then
TripIt
upcoming travel plans. Let's add that. Oh, this is how you did it. So you can't do it in the shortcuts. What are my travel plans? That's the other thing is you have to kind of remember.
Right. You could say, like, get the heck out of here or something. How to get the heck out of here, Siri.
What are my travel plans?
I didn't find any appointments about my travel in the next 3 months.
Well, what are my travel plans? Now, this is the thing that bugs me.
Alaska Airlines Flight 1024.
So there you go. That's actually exactly what we wanted to have happen. So thank you for sharing that with me. That's a great little thing. And I think if the problem is now I have to remember that, what are my travel plans? But and I have to do it when there's no one else in the room speaking, which is really a bit of a problem with Siri, especially since every time I launch Siri, people start messing with me.
Yes.
But that's really good. What are my travel plans? So as you're going to the airport, or maybe you're in the cab and you're trying to remember, what flight am I on? That's a great thing to have.
Or someone says, like, where are you going? And what are my travel plans?
Now, does that mean that this will now be available to me on my iPad?
Try it.
What are my travel plans?
I don't see an app for that. You'll need to download one.
All right.
But you don't. But you have TripIt on there, right?
Yeah. Obviously, the TripIt for the iPad has. Well, but no, yours works. Oh, golly gosh.
What are my travel plans?
You have more than 24 upcoming appointments.
Okay, so that
it's giving you your calendar. It's not giving you TripIt, but it did work.
It did. It gave me.
But that's because your Siri request is different.
What did I ask for it?
That's the other thing. Now, by the way, you can find that in your Siri in search settings.
I think I just said upcoming travel plans.
Yeah.
There we go.
So your syntax is different, but you get a different result too, which is too bad because I like my result. So if you go to Siri and search, you'll see at the very top, here are the shortcuts. And this is so you can remember what things you've got on here, you know. And by the way, I have some interesting ones that I got from I think Lauren Brichter, like add a frame, which is kind of cool. Make an animated selfie, make an animated gift, save my location I talked about. Add a frame. So now I choose an image. Let's choose this image. Done. So there's a bug we could fix, but it kind of does a cool thing with your photos. It actually puts an iPhone frame around it. So if you have a screenshot, and that's what it was doing. It found all the screenshots. It'll probably do it better on here. Let's see. Let's do a screenshot right here just to give it something to work with. So there's a screenshot. Add a frame. And there's the picture I just took. Let's see if it works on this. It might be. It might only work on the iPhone. Yeah, it did. Now, if I go to my photos, the picture I just took now has. This is the picture I took, and it now has a nice. It has a frame around it. Actually, it didn't fit it all the way around, but so I should take a smaller one, I guess. But that's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have one more app that works well with Siri shortcuts. Lookup. I don't know if we've shown this, but it shows you a word of the day. Learn a new word every day.
Oh, that's good. So you could say, Siri, I want to learn a word or something like that.
Yes. So I think I said, good morning, sunshine. And it's running good morning, which should be my word of the day. Works seamlessly.
Okay, so this is, sigh.